What is up, everybody? We are back with the college football show. I am your host, Actively Lazy. With me is everybody's favorite person to kick out the group, Patrick. And the Mad Rapper himself is guest appearing once again due to
I'm
the
back.
nature of the game. It'll probably be his last appearance as Notre Dame is expected to win. but
No.
um, but yeah, so we got a lot to cover because we didn't get much done last week, and then part of that is my fault. Some scheduling stuff came up, um, but as you guys can probably see, we are going to be talking about the one and only Coach Prime. I don't actually getting an adult chair. So look again, people, they're killing me. My son broke my chair. There's this thing called having it delivered. It just hasn't gotten here yet. So in the meantime, I'm in the damn beach chair. It's fine. You guys know I'm not 5'2" as the camera is showing, and I'll sit straight up. Is that better? Is that better for you guys? It's literally the same height as my last chair. It's just unfortunate that he broke it. Um, but I guess that's what happens when you have a man child. But anyway, I'm supposed to do the full screen. I think I messed it up. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can do that. All right. So yeah. So now we can just see the full screen. I'm tinkering with some stuff here. Exit full screen. All right. So let's just get to it. We don't have to really go through too much for last week because the last week's games kind of sucked. But it's all about the prime effect, man. This
Yeah.
guy had people up at 2 a.m. watching Colorado and Colorado State.
Heck
And
was
I just
after
want to give,
dark. Heck was
yeah,
after
I
dark.
just want to give myself a shout out, Marcus, to Jeff, and all these other people that I know, all 10 of us that would ever stay up that late to watch a Pac-12 football game or the Mountain West. Now you people see our struggle and why most of us don't end up in church service because we don't go to bed till like 4 or 5. But what
Well,
did
I won't
you
go
what
into
did
church
you
anyway.
what
Yeah,
did
you
you
gonna
think
bust it for
about what did you guys think about first and foremost the prom effect in general? Like what does that mean? I feel like we can't talk college football if we're not talking about Deion Sanders. So what is the prime effect to you, Marcus, and what does that mean for the landscape of college football?
Go ahead, Pat. Or you want me to
Oh, go
go?
Oh,
ahead, Pat. Yeah.
he said Marcus.
I did
Oh,
call Marcus, but it's all right. Go ahead, Pat.
no,
Oh, you did?
well,
I couldn't hear you, but my bad. Well, if you call
well,
me, I'll go. I'll tell you
first.
what.
Oh, you going to me?
Bro, we
I can
on the
go. If you
screen.
called me, I
Go
couldn't
ahead,
hear you.
Marcus. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
go ahead.
Marcus.
But technical difficulties. But the thing I think that is we haven't seen an effect like this really since Georgetown in the 80s and the 90s had such a cultural impact because, of just having John Thompson as a black coach, privately black school in Chocolate City, like a lot of things that led up to it having just such an impact on not just sports, but rappers, models, any part of just culture and society, the apparel, Nike, all of that. Deion Sanders is that times 10, man, because if you look on the sideline, you're talking about a place in Boulder that's like 3% black. Man, you got Cameron, you know had Wu Tang, you know had Key Glock, you know had Desi Banks, you know had Lil Wayne. I just think that the cultural impact, man, that he's having on college football is what's needed because I think a lot of the reason he got to Colorado was because a lot of people this type of energy and what it looks like at their university.
Yeah, and one thing that
But I do think that the impact that he's having is just going to accelerate from here on out.
and you failed to mention he got Kawhi Leonard to more Colorado games than Clippers games, which I thought was incredible. He had Kyle Lowry and Chauncey Billups. Like it's from A to C listers, man. I even know some folks that have went up there. My friend said his aunt and uncle are alum, and now they went to a game in Colorado.
That's
Patrick, what do
legit.
you think? What do you think is the prime effect? What does that mean to you?
I mean, he's he's put a program that they've had their flashes in the early '90s, late '80s of, being on the spotlight. They're the biggest show on TV now. Like, well, we've looked at ticket sales for them. They're the most expensive ticket in college football right now. This game last week, it was the 5th highest ever on ESPN. And this is to watch a team that, they went 1-11 last year, but hey, Prime got them cooking, baby.
Yeah, and it stretches beyond the brand. I mean, he's probably the most hated man in Vegas right now. Because I can't see how the books have won any money off of Colorado, except for last week, actually. But then I'm pretty sure everybody who lost on the overall bet on him in the second half. Hell, I even bet on him in the second half, and I didn't even want to bet the game. But it is what it is. We got our resident troll here, Prime to UT. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Y'all remember this. I was gonna say real quick though. Y'all remember this. We're not gonna see Ben Garcia anymore if Deion Sanders ends up in
Texas.
But go ahead.
Dub and now I was just gonna say, man, I just hate what's circulating around now. Like, well, y'all acting like Prime gonna go to the college football playoff, or you acting like Prime gonna win 11 games. I'm just saying that to go from 1-11 to what this program is now, he's done enough for year one, to be quite honest, because they were saying that the economic impact in the city of Boulder and the Colorado weekend was $18 million. Like, I mean, the whole economy, if you a lot of these college towns, man, especially from, in Colorado, Iowa, the heartland of America, it's just the university, man. And to just bring that energy, man, to bring all the faces back to Boulder. And I mean, they're going to be a bowl team, right? Like, them just getting to a bowl game this year is an incredible feat. And I think we'll see what Prime, is going to keep building the program over the next couple of years. But I just hate now that the narrative switching to, they're not even that good. We doing all this for a team that's only going to win 6 games. I'm like, did y'all not see Colorado last year, my G? Because they were the worst, one of the, 10 worst teams in college football. So I hate that that's where the narrative's kind of turning now, because, of course you lose Travis Hunter and, they're just going to have the depth yet. But now people are almost like, they got their Birdman hand rub waiting for Colorado to go on, like a 4-game losing streak. And I'm like, that's corny, because they was only going to be an 8-5 team at best anyway, so.
Yeah, and God forbid they still cover the number.
Those people who they're not going to the college football. Yeah, we know. Enjoy the ride. Right. We know what this is. Enjoy the hype. Enjoy that there's like a great entertaining show out here. Enjoy this. Enjoy Deion being Deion.
So switching gears. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Oh yeah. My man with the plan, breaking my heart. Nick Saban, is the writing on the wall, man. What is going on? Who's going to be the quarterback? It just doesn't seem like a Bama team. So, we go through this probably every year since he actually lost in the national championship. But I think this is the year that we truly have to ask: is Saban finally on the decline? Hey, look, hold on. Before we start, wait, hold on. Before we start, Patrick, it's okay to answer, even though you're in the SEC. He's not going to hurt you anymore.
He's not.
Okay.
We can come out of hiding.
Because I saw your.
He might, bro.
But his mouth open, but words weren't. They won't coming out. He was kind of making sure he was.
I had to look out the window, like Saban might be around the corner. He might drop video.
But since you're SEC,
it's on the.
You go ahead.
Yeah, it's on the decline. Like the things that. When we've never seen a dynasty like this ever, but things that when a team's run comes to an end, like those little chunk pieces that happen, they're kind of happening. Like he's not replacing the personnel coaches like he used to. Like he had Lane in there, then he had Sark in there, then he had Bill O'Brien. Like, people who were calling competent offenses. Doesn't have that anymore. Defense still looks decent, but also he's kind of missed in these last few recruiting cycles with, wide receivers. Some of these running backs not looking that good. They've also kind of missed on some quarterbacks. Like Milroe, he was probably, a 4-star coming out of high school? He's just all right. He's got his strengths and weaknesses, but he's not what you expect from Bama. Not what you expect coming out of that. So it's like chunk by chunk, you can see where, it is on the downslide.
And Milrow is probably to me the biggest telltale sign because I'm used to seeing them reload, even if they don't have a ton of Bryce Youngs coming through the program. There's at least somebody that's capable enough to get the ball to the playmakers or get the hell out the way and let the playmakers roll. It just doesn't seem like Milrow can do the basic things that they're asking him to do in the passing game. And I'm not used to seeing that. I mean, Jalen Hurts could do the basic things. He was better once he got with as a passer. He was better once he got with Lincoln. But like the basic things, just being accurate on the quick out, a 5-yard curl, man. You know, he couldn't even complete those against Texas. You got
Joe
windows to throw
Milton
into.
West.
Yeah, there's windows to throw into, and he's up, down, left, right, you know, all over the place, just inconsistent as a passer. I can't remember the last time I saw Bama with what I would consider a pure athletic quarterback, like the guy that you give the ball and just tell everybody get the hell out the way and watch him run. So Marcus, what do you think?
Jalen
Is
Hurts
that
not count as that?
I don't think Hurts was that. I think what they were asking him to do with simple passes, he could complete those.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think Milrow.
Man,
Well, I haven't seen Milrow do it consistently.
if anybody has built up enough equity to have a couple of average cycles, I think it's Nick Saban. I think
That's
a couple
true.
of things. I don't know if they're on the decline because looking at this team and what they're going to be next year, they starting 2 freshman tackles, right? 2 guys that we're going to work usually 1 freshman tackle, Caden Proctor on the left tackle, and then you got Jason Latham on the right tackle. And just looking at the pieces that they got around, I think if you see college football now, you got to hit on 2 bell cow positions. It's not D line anymore. It's not linebacker. It's quarterback and wide receiver. This is an arms race, except Georgia, right? I think if you want to be, you're gonna be in 1 or 2 buckets: Bama, Georgia, and everybody else. If you're gonna be everybody else, you're gonna win with good quarterback play and having playmakers on the edge. I think Bama right now, you just missed on a couple cycles at the quarterback position. I think the rest of the team is good enough. That Texas game, you put Quinn Ewers on Alabama, Bama wins by 2 scores. I think that they're a better team than Texas. I just think that if you got a deficiency in the quarterback position, it's hard to mask that unless you have a defense like Georgia had for the last 2 years that's probably going to produce, 20 plus NFL picks over the next 3 to 4 years. So I wouldn't say a decline. I wouldn't say next year. We'll see how it looks because it wasn't like a save me Bryce type position, but I don't know if it is a decline yet, and I wouldn't even say we're trending that way because I still think this team is going to be a 10-2 team, and a lot of teams in college football would kill to be 10-2. But yes, for the Alabama standard, I think they're taking a step back, but I do think they'll pick it up for next year. I mean, that's just locker. If you don't play it in the locker room, that don't mean nothing to me. When I see that, that's just young players trying. I hate that they say it's not a good look. I mean, a players only meeting is just what players do. Like that's just one of the tricks in the book after a loss. Like, I mean, we know all played in the locker room. Like, man, let's have a players only meeting. Hey, man, we got to do this and do this right. Yeah, of course, we just got our ass kicked, and yeah, everybody want to be held accountable. So I don't look at that. I just think that when you got Tommy Reese and you got somebody like Jalen Milrow, why not let Milrow play to his strengths, man? Instead of, I understand trying to develop his game. I think if you got a call sheet and you got 100 plays with somebody like Jalen Milrow, if you went 3rd and 4 or less, you got to think about inserting the quarterback run game, especially in college football. It's the best weapon you got. I just don't like you saying, oh, we in 3rd and 4, we in 3rd and 5. Let's try to make him a drop back passer. I don't know if that's the most effective use of him. When I see quarterbacks like him, I think of Pat White at, West Virginia and how, even though the spread was early and people caught up to that, man, it was 3rd and 5 or less. It was a combination. You didn't know if you were going to get RPO, QB run, halfback run like so. I mean, I think Bama this year is probably 2-3 losses, but I ain't gonna put them in the hospice yet, man. I know I laugh and joke about it in the chat, but I don't know, man. Until the boogeyman is dead, I gotta see it, man.
All right,
I'm gonna keep trying to make this money fading them.
But a 3-loss 10, like 3-loss, 2-loss Bama team, that would be kind of like the decline for their standards, though.
Yeah, for the Bama standard, it is.
Yeah, for Bama
like
standard.
for what they've done, like coming off the mountain of if it's 11-1, that's about as bad as it should be. Like that one weird upset loss week 4 to Now
Nobody lives
Tennessee might.
forever. That's been my whole
Yeah.
thing with Bama. It's like, you know what I mean? Nobody lives forever. That's fine. Like, I don't think it should be. I just hate kind of like the media narrative, like, oh, Saban's done, Saban's done. I'm like, look, man, if anybody's earned that, it's him, you know. So I'm willing to at least give him the benefit of the doubt. Like Ben said, yeah, Tommy Reese is not a good offensive coordinator. I will admit that's probably a step down from him, but they also have misses in other positions too. They don't have the receiver talent like they have. I mean, it's the same. You talk about Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, Amari Cooper. I mean, they're just like Ohio State. That every single year you knew that you had a number one, a guy who can go not just not lose games, but win games for you. You know, when you need catches, when you need offensive production, they just don't have that. But they got. I mean, it's a young team, and also, you know, I think position to even worry about declining, honestly, because I mean, outside of UGA, I mean, we'll see what Texas is going to do. Texas starting to look like they're maybe back a little bit, starting to get that momentum coming into the SEC. But I'm like, until somebody show me that they can finally put them away, like, I mean, just absolutely crush them, then I'll say, yeah, they're not gone yet.
Well, hopefully it's not Texas, but we're going to get to the games. Game of the week that I have marked. Didn't do this to suck up. Literally, probably is game of the week. Number 6, Ohio State, favorite by 3, going into number 9, Notre Dame. Over unders at 55.5. Let's talk about it, Marcus. What did I set the line jokingly before? Did I put it at like 4 or something?
4.
And you were like, yeah, you were like, all right, I'm taking that. Now it's 3. What's up?
You know, honestly, man, I've had like the last couple of days.
People just wait for this. It's hilarious.
Call before the Irish Storm. You know, it's an interesting matchup because I think that, I mean, in my gut, like from as an Ohio State fan versus a gambler, so I'm gonna separate the two here for a second. As a gambler, I would probably take the Notre Dame 3 points because I think there are some unknowns, and while I'm in a wait and see mode with our defense. Our test has told me that it has improved, especially on the edges, but we'll see. I don't know if Notre Dame still has Kyle McCord is unknown, and I'm not sure how Ryan Day is going to call the game. I mean, that's really what it comes down to because listening to him the last couple of days, I think he is trying to make this a matchup game because it's not a matchup game. We are far more talented than Notre Dame. And I just want him to be able to just let the horses run, man. Like, don't come in. He has a tendency sometimes. I've seen it with Stroud, seen it with Justin Fields. You gotta let the players play, man, and just live with the results. And you can't just continue to try to control and pacify, you know, your quarterbacks because they don't play loose, man. And now what we've seen in the last couple of weeks with Kyle McCord, I think that he's it. That's the gambler side of me. Ohio State fan, we about to go into Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana. I don't think this should be within a 2-3 score game, me personally. I think it's going to start out really close. But what I've seen from Sam Hartman, look, this is a really good team. He's the best quarterback they probably had since Jimmy Clausen. But you can't convince me that a guy who's been in school 6 years is that much of a playmaker. We see him at Wake Forest playing some bigger games. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I'm just not buying that. Is he a good quarterback? Yes. And I hate to use this as a disrespect. You're a good Big Ten quarterback. You are some of the guys we've probably seen at Penn State, Wisconsin. That's how I feel about them. Now, they got the best offensive line in college football. You got Joe Alt as the left tackle. We're going to see what our defensive line is about. But if Ryan Day lets the kids play, I think this could be a 2-score game because I just don't see how they can, one, continuously run the ball on us and sustain drives.
We got some people I don't think agree with you, man.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's fair. I watch more Ohio State than anybody, and I'm probably more critical of Ohio State than anybody.
You 100% watch more.
Take the -3. You know, like, yeah, if you're a gambler, take the 3 points. I think that's fair. It's almost a pick 'em. The way I'm looking at it, at least, is right. If you're giving Ohio State 3, maybe it's a 6-point line on the road. You give them 3 for being at home, whatever. But if it's 3 points, I think it's a pick 'em. But that's from a gambler standpoint. But just looking at it from a football lens, I don't think this should be within a 2-score game. I could see Ohio State being like a 34-21, 34-24 score. Because Kyle McCord is more than capable. We got a stable of running backs, the best wide receiving core in the country. Ryan Day just got a raise to be the highest paid coach in the Big Ten. There's no need to go out coach scared. If Kyle McCord, we shouldn't be in a position of where we was in Oregon. If we in a position in the fourth quarter where Kyle McCord got to win the game for us, that's bad coaching. because there should be enough talent around Kyle McCord to be able to support a starter that, even though he's been in the program for 3 years, this is only his third start. He's going to see some things live that he just hasn't seen before. So if y'all hear me going off in the third quarter on Ryan Day and Jim Knowles, that'll be the reason we lose the game. I think that if Jim Knowles can adjust and really get himself out of a bind without 6 and 7 man pressures, we could leave ourselves vulnerable in the back.
All right, we got a special guest in just in time. He knows all about some boring Big Ten football. What up, Jay?
Is my headphones working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You on?
Fuck, I can't hear y'all. Damn.
We just can't see your face. He can't hear us.
You're looking like an IG live video.
Remove him back. All right, Patrick. We have heard from the representative of Ohio State. Unfortunately, Chase did not make it to represent Notre Dame. Do you want to represent Notre Dame, or you want me to do it? You want to give the people a reason why Ohio State full of it?
I don't want to represent Notre Dame. I'll
do it then. I'll do it. Fine. Well, for starters, if the current landscape of paying people has shown us anything, you do not actually get what you pay for. So him getting a contract is more of an omen for him.
He gonna Joe Burrow it?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Joe Burrow. But no, at the end of the day, this is Notre Dame in this game is what Texas was in the Bama game. This is your moment to put up or shut up. You have closed the gap enough from the gambling standpoint and the people who set the line. You've closed it enough that it's a 3-point game. You've closed it enough overall by the fans that they expect you to compete and essentially win this game. So you got to do it. You got your quarterback. You got plenty of returning starters on the line. You got a stout defense. You literally have all the things you've had. And like he said, a quarterback that's as good as when Jimmy Clausen was there. This is your moment. Freeman, this is your moment. Can Ryan Day be out coached? I think he can, just because it's him. It's not anything else. Like, he holds himself back. And there just seems to be this lack of commitment to doing the necessary things, like the little things, like not calling cover 0, just playing straight up man, or just dropping in a cover 2, cover 3, just keeping it simple. Like, there's too many times over the last 3 years where I've been like, why are you even doing that? Like, why are you trying to get cute in the goal line, in the red zone? Why are you trying to get cute? Just hand the ball off. Just throw the ball to Marvin Harrison. So I'm with Marcus in the sense that if I find myself asking those same questions I've been asking over the last 2 to 3 years in big games, then we're gonna have issues. So I
saw that. You ain't ish for that.
Yeah. So so my thing is, as a gambler, I want 100% of taking the points here. I'm doing 3.5, and if I'm feeling frisky enough for me, I'll probably lay it on the money line and see what I can get. Because one thing we know for sure, Ohio State don't never start fast. So worst case scenario, you could live bet and hedge. But if they get down, let's say they get down by 10, will they do the necessary things to come back with this running clock? The game is sped up a little, man. You don't have all this time. Like I go back to the UCLA game where Chip was at halftime. He was like, we only got 4 possessions, like, and here's the thing about Notre Dame, they still got that clock managing offense, man. Like, they're gonna grind you. So it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things. Again, this is Notre Dame's moment. They got to step up, and I think they are up for it. So I would definitely take my 3.5.
So have you guys watched Notre Dame? Have you just watched them play at any point this year?
Yeah. I mean, I watched the first 2 games.
I watched the
what
Navy
is
game
it that you see? And what is it in Notre Dame? Like, just trying to be objective, that people really think. What is it with Sam Hartman and this Notre Dame offense that really thinks, like, okay, they got enough firepower to hang with Ohio State? Is it from what you've seen from them this year, or what you've seen from Jim Knowles previously that makes you like, okay, well, I could see Notre Dame, putting up points on Ohio State?
All right, here we go. We got hold on. We got somebody that's gonna answer it. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Am I in here now?
Yeah, you in here. Go ahead.
All right,
Answer the
good.
Go on to
question.
him, Mr. Candy.
He wants to know. He wants to know why.
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
I heard him. So I mean, he's right that like Notre Dame doesn't have the perimeter skill on offense to hang theoretically with the Buckeyes, but what they do have in Hartman is, someone that's seeing the field really well, making the right plays, and running that offense a lot more effectively than most other teams are getting right now in, week 3 and 4. So they also have elite tackles who are outperforming the defensive ends that the Buckeyes have that should be better, but haven't been playing well. And then it's really going to be up to, I think, like Denzel's playing really good at corner, but there's a weakness in that third safety spot. And if you bring Sonny into the box, he's either going to get exposed or make a name for himself. I kind of lean towards the latter, but that's the matchup I think they want. So it's really going to be that third safety in the defense right now. It's going to make the difference, I think, for the day.
So we got a panel of 5 people right now. I'm Notre Dame. Chase, you Notre Dame?
We talk about for the game in general, like straight up.
For the game, straight up.
Oh man, I'm so torn. I want to be pro Buckeyes, but I'm like, because here's the deal, man, and I think it's probably already been said. The talent advantage is all on Ohio State. They're just not. They haven't maximized that yet. Where Notre Dame's like, I don't know, man. It's strength on strength in a lot of areas, and it's at night in South Bend. Those are good things for Notre Dame. I don't see it being. There's no way it's going to be a blowout one way or another. I can't see that. So I think it's going to be a good game, and then it comes down to coaching. And you got 2 guys that we don't know what they're going to do, right? Like, there's just no way. We don't know what's going to happen. Knowles has been freezing up all week, and he's been known to shit the bed. Day shits the bed, and we don't know anything about Marcus Freeman. So it's really hard to say, man. It's going to be such a close matchup, and I haven't even like wagered yet one way or the other because I can't figure out which way I want to go. I could see it going either way.
Okay, Jay, who you got?
I don't trust Notre Dame in prime time. I do understand everything that Chase is saying, and I mean I won't lie. Notre Dame has definitely looked flashier out there beginning of the year, but my gut tells me OSU by 3. I feel like Notre Dame glitz and glamour will come down to it, but I think Ohio State, being that people have kind of doubt in them, they'll have them, level up a little more, and I think they'll come up to the challenge, and I think they'll do it at South Bend.
Marcus, you're clearly Ohio State. Do you trust your kicker to win it for you?
I don't even think it's going to get to that point. I think it's going to be a Kyle McCord coming out party. Like, I think people just got to enjoy the ride. From what I've seen from Kyle McCord and all of us, we play sports, it's a different feel when you know you the guy. You get all the reps with the first team. You go out last week, he had a sack fumble. You make a mistake, you don't got to look over your shoulder. Now, all of a sudden, you got a chance to come out, prove yourself, get back in rhythm with the offense. And I think if people thought CJ was good, people thought Justin, Dwayne, JT, I don't know if Kyle McCord got to be a Heisman level finalist, but he is by far more than capable. I think when people look for like, okay, you had CJ, his key attribute was his accuracy and his ability to just stick the ball in there. Justin was his athletic ability. I think what you see with Kyle McCord is his ability to process and watch him in the pocket, man. Watch his footwork. He does not panic in the pocket. Not something a lot of Ryan Day quarterbacks would say. CJ would definitely see some goals. So with Justin, I think if they really want to win this game and affect him, you got to get in his face because early on I've seen that like, okay, Kyle is a very cool and calm individual, and I got a lot of faith in him. So, yeah, I by far think it's a Buckeyes. I don't think it's a matchup game like a UGA or college football playoff. I'm like Chase. I think Ryan Day is talking himself into that. And, yes, even though you got a young quarterback, on first down, we can't just continue to run inside zone, inside zone, inside zone because if you get to 2 yards, you're essentially setting yourself behind the chains. Why not get the ball to Marvin Harrison, Ibuka, G. Scott, Chip train him? Like, there's so many pieces around him, man, to just get the ball out there. And it ain't the talent on the field. It's the signal callers, man. McCord, Ryan Day, Jim Knowles. Those guys, I don't know. If Nerd Boy come out and he's aggressive, yeah, I think, we can definitely get out there with the last, like 10 points, man. I can see it being a 10-point win. But it's going to be a good game either way. I think it's going to be similar to like Penn State Ohio State matchups. You know, like every single year we just always have a dogfight, but Ohio State somehow finds a way to pull away in the third quarter and maybe in the fourth. I think that's the kind of game.
All right,
What up?
Patrick, who you
What
got?
I've seen with
One more
Hold
thing.
on, Patrick.
If we losing, I'm going home. I just want to put that out there for y'all.
Hey, Chase.
He gonna cry.
Chase,
Sorry.
Chase, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you close
I
it.
want to give a little more on McCord because
Uh-huh.
here's what I'm seeing in the film. He has the tools, but he doesn't have the faith yet. He's getting better with it, but he won't make the first read. He won't hit that unless it's wide open. And against Notre Dame, they don't have the skill at corner. So, Marvin and Ibuka should be able to get open, and he should be able to hit those. But he has been hesitant when the windows aren't if someone's not wide open, he's not making it. He'll check it down, so he makes a smart play. It's kind of like Alex Smith, where you're like frustrated. You see there's an opportunity over the top, but he's going to take the middle, and that could be enough here. And like I say, the playmaker should get open. It's going to be probably trickier against Penn State, where they got guys on the edge that can theoretically, mark those guys better, or at least keep them from being wide open. But he's constantly like, if someone's not wide open, he ain't taking it. So he's got to get a little more just confidence in himself to push the ball down the field. And once he gets there, and this could be his coming out party, because once he gets there, once he says like, all right, I'm just going to throw it up there because Marvin Harrison's supposed to be the best receiver out there. I got to throw it towards him. Once he starts to do that, because he hasn't done that. You haven't seen these like Marvin Harrison contested catches this year. He's not doing that. But once he does, then we got something. But we might have enough even without him doing that, because he's making the right plays. He's making some good like check downs and stuff to keep the ball moving. So we'll see. But he has not fully blossomed, and there's a long way to go. He can do it though. He definitely showed like more arm talent in the last game than he's shown all year, and that's to be expected. So now we got another test for him.
Patrick,
Who would you rather have, Hartman or McCord?
Oh my God.
Saturday night or in general? I mean, it's a no-brainer, man.
Saturday night. You saying Hartman no-brainer?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I disagree with that. I think because I really think people are overplaying this experience. Like, listen, this dude, there's 17 quarterbacks in the NFL that are his age. You cannot tell me that you're this great talent and been in college football 6 years. A kid is in Columbus for 3 years and we view it a failure. I don't think he's
great. I just take 3,000 snaps over 100 plays or whatever.
But at what point does experience and talent equate? Because I don't think he's the talent that McCord is, and I don't think he has the weapons.
He's not, but it's got to click for McCord, and it hasn't yet. And it can, but it hasn't yet. And I mean, like I say, it's been 3 games. Like
Go ahead, Patrick. What do you think, man?
Y'all also have to stop the run. Notre Dame right now they're averaging 6 yards per play on the ground, and Audric Estime, he's got what?
He's a beast.
8 on the ground per carry. So y'all got, if Ohio State wants to win, they got to keep them under. They got to keep them under at least $160. Because right now Notre Dame's averaging about 210 on the ground. You got to keep them on. You got to keep them under that. So limit the ground game,
strategy,
which is a real underrated aspect of Notre Dame right now.
The strategy for that is always the same. Get out fast, get ahead, make them have to play a way that they don't want to play, which would, in theory, ask Ryan Day to do the things that the majority of us are critical about, and that's be aggressive, score points. Like, you get in the red zone, you need 7, not 3. Like, you got to get it done. So it should be one of the more interesting games on Saturday. But for the sake of this being my show, we need to get to the real game, and that's this one right here. Chase, you gonna hang around and tell everybody why Florida State's gonna dog Clemson?
Man, we already know, man. Jamal's already denying reports that Spiller and Shipley are fighting at the practice field, and Dabo's like changed his faith. He's like Scientologist now or something. Like everything's blown up, man. It's over.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, like, I think that FSU, their offense is clicking, and they got two receivers that I don't think Clemson can stop. I think they were messing around with BC. Like, that was not, obviously Hafley was pulling out all the stops, but I think when they're ready to turn it on, like they were against LSU, like, how do you stop those guys? You got a 6'4" and 6'8" guy. I mean, and a quarterback that can get it to them. So I don't know, man. I think that they're really looking like they're on it and they want it this year. And Clemson's looking like they're just falling apart.
Somebody says Florida State players had the flu too.
And it was a hurricane.
Yeah, and it was a hurricane.
The weather conditions are horrible.
Yeah.
They were gonna look ahead last week, to be honest.
I mean, last week was a trip for a lot of people, for real. So I'm not even reading too much into that. But what I'm saying is that this is the year. Like, no excuse, man. This is the worst Clemson team I've seen in a long time. They're beyond beatable to the point where I'm not even sure they're going to be up for the game, for real. Like you said, they out here fighting each other at practice and stuff. But part of me still wants to lose this game and hope that Dion can come home. That's what I really want. But yeah, I'm landing with Florida State. I don't bet my teams often, but when I do, there's a 95% chance that they're going to win because I'm that confident, because I never lay money on my teams. And I really like Florida State here. If we don't cover, it'll be disappointing. If this comes down to like them missing a field goal at the end or something like that, I'm gonna be
I'd write 12. Why? I'd write 12.
No, my God.
Virtual Dabo is done, man. I laid y'all big. I think, let me see, which was the over under 55. I think it's a blowout, man. I just think that looking at Clemson the last couple games, you bring in a guy like Garrett Riley, it's obvious that on the offense, he doesn't control the offense. I think Dabo has in his mind very much like Urban Meyer did. Like, this is the Ohio State offense. This is the Clemson offense. This is the kind of things we want to do. I think Cade is definitely good enough. I just don't know if the pieces around him are good enough and as explosive as we've seen in Clemson. I think Shipley's a good quality running back, but I don't think he's
Nah, he's not a running back.
He's not. Christian McCaffrey
just got that juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah,
I think he just got that juice, man. Florida State just seems like with Travis, you got from Michigan State. I keep forgetting his name, the wide receiver.
Keon Coleman.
State, man, Keon Coleman. I just think, man, this is one of those years where, the ACC is Florida State to lose. So I'm going Florida State, man. If the line was 10 points, I would take it. That's how confident I am in the Seminoles. I just don't see anything that makes me think they can hang out.
This is like the first time in about a decade that we're not talking about a Clemson receiver doing well or a quarterback in Clemson tearing it up, or talking about a talented running back Clemson's pushing out. And that's always been their cornerstone in their championship years, is having that quarterback, that receiver, and that running back, that little three-headed monster. And they really don't have it. And honestly, I really don't see this probably being a close game. I feel like it could be like that game. What was it, 2014 or 13 when Clemson got blown out? I think it could be one of those kind of games.
Oh, the national title year?
No. I think 2013 when the big hype. I think same last year, and I think they went to is that Death Valley or was that Florida State? I can't remember, but I don't see it really being too close. But Clemson doesn't have an offense this year, and Florida State can wear on them. So by third, fourth quarter, it's going to be definitely a little bit of a boat race.
Patrick, go ahead and eat praise on Florida State.
I know. God, I have to do that. Jesus.
Go ahead.
Jordan Travis is.
You can't even say it.
His legs, he's actually going to neutralize my chest. I'm about to have an aneurysm over here. Jordan Travis actually is going to take away the only real strength that Clemson has in this game that's that D-line. Because I know they got some good edge rushers and they got some good people coming up the middle. Jordan Travis, he's so athletic. He's getting away from that. And Keon Coleman's always open. Like, He's an NBA player in college football. Like, what is he?
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6", runs a 4.4, and just
Somebody said we
going up
got a
there
team
mossing people. Yeah,
team full of power forwards and wide receiver. I thought that was
Yeah, Johnny Wilson would do.
All right, look,
Yeah.
this next game gonna be quick, man. I ain't gonna even put up the screen for it, man. Let's just get it out the way. Iowa and Penn State. I don't really want to talk about it.
Not
State
so
by
fast,
20.
my friend.
Oh
Not so
gosh.
fast.
Here we
Come
go,
on,
man.
man. Come on, man.
Not so. Where's my Corso headgear?
There's
Not so
no
fast. Somebody
way.
get the
I don't
Hawkeye
even want to hear this argument. I really don't.
Yo, there's no way Iowa
Right?
will go into Penn State and win, man. Is it?
Isn't it
Oh,
the
hell
whiteout?
no.
Hear me.
It's a
It's gotta
whiteout.
be
They're
a
about to get
whiteout.
stomped out.
Yeah, it's gotta be a whiteout. I didn't put the time up, but it's gotta be a whiteout.
It's a whiteout.
Whiteout's a
It's a
little
whiteout.
overrated, but we're not gonna get into that. It's a great environment, but it's a little overrated considering if you look at their win-loss record during whiteout. And I get it.
Iowa
I know
does
Drew
like
Aller
white.
and I understand the hesitation to Iowa, but I do want to see Penn State is very much like Ohio State. They're good when they front running. I don't think that Penn State has had, just the opportunity to see Drew Aller in games, much like Kyle McCord and a lot of new quarterbacks. I just want to see how he performs when the defense is truly challenging his throws, his running, all of that. I'm not saying that they win, but I could see this being an Iowa Penn State game where, it's within 9 points. That 14.5, I thought it was a little high, but we'll see. I mean, I like with Cade McNamara, Brown from Ohio State transferred, and that offense is looking like it has at least an identity. I don't know if it's explosive. It's an offense to where now they can at least score and count on 14 points. So I know that sounds like such a low bar, but coming from Iowa and the type of defense that I think they have played and the defense that they currently have, I could see them making it a closer game. I'm not saying take a money line, but I could see them, covering within 9 points.
I mean, it can keep it close about
Now,
third,
let me tell
mid
you
third
why
quarter.
Cade McNamara gonna do this up. That man is 38 for 72 this year. And the only time they got above 20 points was against a Western Michigan team who was already a 21-point dog against Toledo. So,
Damn.
Iowa does not have enough horses to get in this game. But they may be able to run it a bit because the only soft spot in the Penn State defense is go right at the defensive tackles. They're a little light up there. They ain't passing it on Penn State. They don't have enough on offense.
For anybody keeping track, Iowa is right about 25 points per game. So the offensive coordinator is borderline safe.
They've asked him every week too with that.
No, but I think he's still short, and so that means he's also borderline fired. No, look at this is so disgusting. Is that right? It's minus 14.5, but the over/under is 40.
Yeah,
40.
bro.
40.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's why I said. I'm not even giving
This
it.
will be they could say this will be a 21-9 kind of game.
Oh God! Man.
Now you're about to see the best quarterback in the Big Ten go crazy.
On Iowa's defense.
Yeah, he got it, man.
I like him, but Iowa defense gonna keep it a little close for the first half at least. I mean, I hate Iowa, but they have defense. But I do think he's definitely.
The Drew Aller, Dick Eaton, the Ohio State fan base has been nasty. Hey, yo, pause on that. Because every Buckeye fan, Drew Aller is in February. It is sickening, man. Like
I'm just here to make Marcus mad. So we can also go back to the best wide receiver duo in college football is on FSU.
I won't go say nothing about that.
Wow.
The best wide receiver is clearly on Ohio State.
Hey, yo.
No, it's not. Only on paper, man. In reality, those two are way outplaying Marvin Emeka.
Because they don't throw the ball to Marvin.
Man, this is turning into.
They don't get open.
There's a lot of things going on out here. Hey, yo, let's get out. Next game, yo, because this is crazy. I'm feeling like Cam. Hey, yo, this is crazy.
All right, next game. We'll switch to the next game. Upset alert. Number 22, UCLA is going into Utah. Utah is favored by 4.5 right now. And we are unsure if Cam Rising is playing. Hold on. I gotta mute the kid. Sorry, gotta mute the kid. What is the what's the value here? What's the value that we're getting with UCLA?
Dante Moore is looking like a more refined and consistent version of DTR. Like early on, he looks like end product DTR this early. That's the one thing with UCLA. Like they hit on that one. Like, and with Chip Kelly, I know it's gone are the days of those 2010, 2012 Oregon teams and that crazy offense, but still Chip Kelly's, when he's got a good quarterback in his hands, which he does, he can cook up. And Utah's defense, it's not as good as you think it is. The secondary on Utah is very weak. The front seven is good, but if you're organized on your offensive line, you can still get through their front seven.
Is this your game one notes that you're reading from, or is this what you actually think?
Oh no. Oh no, those are on say Fire Billy Napier.
This is a very thorough scouting report by you, Patrick. I'm impressed, man. I was gonna let you cook, man. I just wanted to know, did you take those notes? You need to pass them to your coach.
Hey, we got it done versus Josh Heupel. Sloppy stuff, baby.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, we can't discredit the fact that Utah ran over the best team in the SEC with a bunch of third stringers on the field.
Fourth stringers, too, man. That quarterback was fresh.
Hey, Graham Mertz tearing up the whole conference, but he can't do anything against Utah.
Hey, to be fair, the altitude, and you know how Utah is. They culture. They don't allow no fun out there. So by the Florida,
this man played in Wisconsin. He should have been right at home.
Yeah, 7 moons and 7 stars in the Mormon shit.
What you think, Marcus?
They actually drink a lot in Wisconsin. Thank you very much.
Oh, I was all over this earlier in the week. I think we were talking about this in the chat, man. I've been watching UCLA. I'm a Pac-12 after dark guy, so it don't matter if it's UCLA, Colorado, whoever. But just watching the progress, like Patrick has said, of Dante Moore, man. He came in 5-star quarterback and a guy that Chip Kelly knew that he must have. He runs his offense well. He's got great mobility. He throws really well across the middle of the field and in between the hatches. And I think if you watch the Chip Kelly offense, man, they do a lot of creative things in the run game, in the pass game, formationally. And like you said, I think Utah's defense is good, but I don't think that Utah's offense is going to be able to hold up and score, the type of points, because I think Chip is going to come in and he's been playing loose, man, with Dante Moore, and I see them doing the exact same thing. They got the wide receiver, I can't remember his name. He's been having some explosive plays. They got another tight end who's really good, and I think Chip got some good pieces, and he's really good in these positions when not as much UCLA and Chip Kelly. Whenever a lot is expected of him throughout his career is really when he kind of like lets down a little bit. But whenever he's in that dog spot and he's got a team that he feels really good about, it just seems that he always is a really good person to bet on. And then just looking at the football matchup, man, I just think that UCLA is also a little better. And like Patrick said, I don't know if Utah is overrated, but I do think that, the Florida win has really amplified their resume and maybe the perception of them as a team. But I do think that UCLA can go and get this win. I'm going money line on the Bruins.
Hey, Chase, you know what I know Chip Kelly's cooking? This man's stat sheet. I looked at the stat sheet for the last UCLA game, and there was like 9 names, and I thought it was receivers, but it was running back. I was like, that man was he had 9 people carrying the ball. Oh, it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be
I'm telling you, watch his offensive, man. I know people. The Oregon offense was probably a little more high flying. He had probably better overall talent around him. I mean, Dennis Dixon, the quarterbacks that he's had, LaMarcus James, those running backs. But watch this offense, man. It's one of the most creative run games in college football, and you're gonna see a lot of different things that is just. He plays left-handed. That's what I say about Chip Kelly. He calls plays left-handed, man. He's really a tendency breaker during big games and somebody who's really gonna give you a lot to prepare for. So it's one of the best offenses to watch. It just looks a little bit different and. When he's hot, man, and he's front running, when he can get his quarterback run game going, they get into the tempo. that's what Chip is at his best. And I think that Utah is on. They're gonna try to slow that down, but I don't think they're gonna be able to keep up with it.
If there's one person that hates the whole fact of like the prime effect, it's got to be Chip Kelly. He hasn't said anything publicly, but I would imagine he's pretty annoyed by it. But number 19, Colorado is taking on Jay's second love. Number 10, Oregon. We're not going to give any excuses, but Hunter is out, and that's probably going to.
Hey, yo, pause. You got a Ducks jersey on?
Yeah. I got a Michael jersey on. Oh, you want to see it?
I tell you, that's another team, man.
Oh yeah, I got the
Dude, bro, this is terrible.
Man,
the Nike meal came in, so it's really not paying. So I had to go to my Pac-12 to dark team and whatnot. I think it's gonna be a really good game. Oregon hasn't really been lighting up like you would think, but I do think that they're going to be on alert that this is a team that offensively can really, it can score. So I feel like I think it'll still be a good game. Shador has been cooking. He had a coming out moment last week. Can't deny that. Their offense is really, if you're not careful, the offense can really sneak up on you and can really light things up quick. And Oregon defensively is okay, but I think they're going to probably play smart, play keep away, run the ball, dominate the clock, and make Colorado chase instead of Colorado set the tempo.
Chase.
Colorado's defense is trash, man. That's the problem here. I mean, it was going to bite them one way or another, but without Hunter, they got like nothing. Like if they had Hunter, there was a chance that we got Bo Picks back. But someone said that I was listening to said that like, and I hadn't even thought about it this way, but losing Hunter, you're losing two starters. Like you can say it's not an excuse, but that is a big impact, especially when he's your best player on at least the defensive side of the ball. I think number 10, like that receiver they got is pretty good, and Shador he does work with whatever's out there. So I'm not so worried about the offense, but Oregon's offense is legit, and Colorado's defense has not been able to stop anything yet this year. So I don't see why we think they're going to go into one of the harder environments to play and shut down one of the best offenses that we've seen this year. Other than we're just like, well, Prime's going to figure it out. I can't get there with it, man. I can't. And that's why the spread's so big. Their defense just is not ready for it.
If he had 10 toes, I would say he'd be Leon Sandcastle again. He could look. I was very slick about changing my profile pic and switching things up so people don't really go back and be like, "Oh, you on the Colorado bandwagon?" I'm coming back in 2 games. This is my sabbatical. I'm taking a 2-week sabbatical here. I don't like what I see.
It's a tough stretch.
Marcus,
Oregon 21. I'm laying it. Man, I don't think, like Chase said, man, I think that especially with a team like Colorado, they've been good because 1 to 11, they can match up with people. Now, when you get into 12 and 13 and 14, that's one of the things I knew would come back to haunt them. You just don't have the depth yet to be able to probably win these type of games or to be competitive. And losing somebody like Travis Hunter, like Chase said, is amplified times 2 because he's your best corner and probably your best deep threat. So if you take those out of a team who doesn't have a lot of depth, it's going to create some problems. Those seeing them play, everybody's watched a lot of them playing. They're soft on both lines. The talent just isn't there. And I think, a more mature program like Oregon is probably like you said, the way do some play action, take some shots, because I don't see Oregon's offense can eat whatever they want, right? They can get in the pass game, the short, the intermediate, the long, the run game. Colorado's best defense is their offense, and I don't think that this offense is going to be clicking to be able to go in the Austin and pull off a victory. I know one thing: if Prime does, oh my God, the USC game,
if he does win that,
if he does win that, like by some sheer miracle, I need you to change the back of your jersey to say Sanders since it's already 21.
You know what makes me laugh about it when I watch Colorado is like you can tell they're in a rebuild because there'll be like a Saltine pops up at positions that they shouldn't be in, and then that's where you know like there's still some gaps. Like you'll see some Saltine pop up in the secondary, and it's like, oh no.
And so all right, though. That's what I call it.
No, I know.
Yeah, he got
he's been playing all right, but you're right.
Bro, the guy that like scored both touchdowns in overtime looks like a dentist. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's going to take another season, and we can't expect them to go in and win games like at Oregon right now. Even though this season's already been cool for the Buffs, I think like we got to chill out when it's Oregon and USC. We can't. Our expectations can't be that Prime can do it. Now, if he does, though, like you said, man, all bets are off at that point.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, I'm gonna let you take us in on this one. Because this is a sneaky game right here. Number 14, Oregon State at number 21, Washington State. Oregon State's favorite by 3. Over under is 52.5. 7 o'clock game. I wish it was a 10 o'clock game because I'd be all over the upset if it was 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the 7 matters more, but Pac-12 got some good matchups this week.
Yeah, but they're all playing early.
It's the best time the conference has been in like a decade, and they're going away. It's like, yes, we're all going to be top 25. We're all going to talk about making the playoff. We're never doing this again, guys.
Yeah, but this is the game right here, man. This is the Tupac.
Yeah, I mean,
they really are the Tupac. You're right.
It really is. I was just saying this it.
It took me a second, but no. Honestly, I like what I've been seeing out of Washington State's defense, though, especially how they kind of manhandled Wisconsin second half. I know it's an early Wisconsin, and Wisconsin, their offense when they were playing Wazoo was touch and go, but second half, Washington State manhandled them.
Yeah, there was an adjustment made. I was pretty impressed too, considering that on paper it looked like a mismatch. Primarily in the trenches, and it wasn't that at all. So I was impressed. What about DJ though? Is DJ, has he exercised all those complaints about him at Clemson?
He's comfortable.
Yeah. So are we now for sure it was Dabo, not DJ?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Dabo.
Okay.
I'm close to that.
Okay.
Granted,
and I think
Ward
what
better?
Oregon State does fits him a lot better too, because they really want to set up the run, be more of a pro style offense, and allow his arm strength to, get down the field and get chunk plays instead of maybe probably trying to spread it out, making him a 40, 50 time a game passer. I think he's better in that 25, 30 position. And also, he's a big dude, man. He's really effective in the quarterback run. And you know how like programs like Oregon State don't get overall talents like Ooga Booga too much. And now I think that he's in a position, like you say, he's comfortable. There's no pressure. He's not really in a national spotlight like Clemson, because it was a big deal. Like, oh, Clemson's bad. It's DJ's fault. Like, that was a big narrative. That's one of the reasons, he left Clemson. So, and, his dad been lighting Dabo ass up on Twitter. So,
yeah.
I haven't even paid attention to that.
Get his lick back.
Yeah, it's like his first big game, and I think he really out to prove, like, you know what? It wasn't me. It was the system around me and how things were at Clemson. It's kind of like his redemption story. So I'm going with the Bees, man.
Is he gonna paint his nails? Is he at that point yet?
Caleb.
That's frowned upon in that culture, man. That's a lower culture. You're not
real
though. Is DJ better than is he the better quarterback in this game though? Because
if you say he was better than Caleb, I was gonna kick you off this podcast right now.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. If I said that, I gotta go do a mandatory drug test.
I mean, I think he's the best.
I'm just saying, Cameron Ward's he's been playing amazing.
No, I was just gonna say watching him. I mean, I think he's good. I've only seen Wazoo play once, and that was Wisconsin, and I've seen Oregon State play twice. I mean, I just think DJ, like I think it was Jay who said he looked comfortable, man. Like I don't think it's gonna be a matter of like you gotta outdo me, I outdo you. But just looking at it, like going into this matchup, yeah, I would take DJ over Wazoo quarterback.
And Oregon State has a sneaky defense too. They don't pop out athletically, but they're very.
They play solid.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
It's
I
been
wouldn't even
like
call it
that a
sneaky.
couple
That's
years.
like that front seven's a mainstay now.
They impressed me when they bounced back on Oregon last year.
Yeah, that was the game I watched them too. If I'm Oregon State, you know what I would do? I would look to really become the next Boise State, man, because Jonathan Smith got a good thing in Oregon. I think even if you go and kind of build with the Mountain West, make yourself the premier program in the Mountain West. Get yourself that automatic playoff bid and at least try to get an upset like every year, every other year. I think that is their best way to sustain their program because historically they haven't been really good since what Ken Simon 10. I mean, it's been the 90s since they've had this type of run of just even stringing together, two bowls caliber seasons. So if you Oregon State, why not look at this like, okay, we've never been Oregon, we've never been Washington. Why not go and be that premier program in the Mountain West and be the boys and maybe get into the playoffs and, maybe not having a legit chance to win it, but at least getting the upset, still staying in the national relevance. I think that's the best way for their program to really maintain over this next course of realignment.
You know how pissed off I'd be if I went from being a Pac-12 team to getting sent to the Mountain West. You know how pissed off I would be.
That does.
If you're a premier team, but you're not that premier school in the Pac-12,
but you
especially football-wise.
You weren't, but you was still in there. The bag was the bag, and y'all done relegated me 2 leagues below. No,
you have to really go back to Jasquez Roger days to when Oregon State. Like you got to go back to the 2009 days when they were actually like fighting for the Rose Bowl and whatnot to really catch Oregon State being that team the Pac-12 football-wise. It's like I said, it's been hit or miss.
Yeah.
They're just Indiana. I mean, they probably historically a little better than Indiana, but just like teams in the Big Ten, man, it does suck that. Like, hey, I get relegated essentially, but I was one of the founding schools here. But at the same time, it's like, well, you're not Washington, you're not UCLA, you're not USC, you're academically not Cal or Stanford, Arizona State. Luckily, they bounced back because of geography, and they're so close to, Texas and some of the schools in the Big 12. And I mean, Arizona has a way bigger basketball profile. Arizona State, I mean, yeah, they're cool school. I mean, I guess, but it's just like
beautiful campus compared to small Oregon State.
Right, and I'm just like, man,
Arizona State's huge.
Think about though with the playoffs changing, is it easier to be the best Mountain West team? Let's say they could is it easier to run the table in the Mountain West and try to get in, or to be at like the middle or bottom of the Big 12 or Big 10? I mean, to me, they almost have a better pathway moving forward by going to the Mountain West than they would. I mean, if let's say they got joined into the ACC, all the Stanford and Cal, that's not a win for them. That would go nowhere. That's not going to get them in the playoffs. So I mean, I don't know. They might have a better path, like you said, be like a Boise, dominate the Mountain West if they can do that, and then they got a better shot to get in than being middle or low tier. These middle or low tier teams in the big conferences, when they got 20 teams coming up, they're going to be nothing, man. They got no shot, even with the 12 teams.
Yeah,
very
and
true.
The name of the game once it hits 12 teams is just get in at that point anyway. You just want to give yourself a chance and get in, extend your season.
Exactly.
Hope there's some magic happen. So
look at what the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be. It's going to be so hard to be a top 6 team in one of those leagues versus being even in the Big 12. The Big 12's got so many teams now. In the ACC, I don't know, man. I think it might be a better path for them to just stay. It might work out for them better than it could have otherwise.
Last game, because we can't do a whole podcast and not mention the SEC. Number 15, Ole Miss at number 13, Alabama. Bama favored by 7. Over under 55.5. Chase, because you can't see it, the ticker's on the bottom. What do you think the big storyline will be here, and how do you see this game playing out?
Oh man, I know the layup storyline is it's over, right? That's the layup storyline is that Bama's at the end. But man, Ole Miss isn't that impressive, but they're more impressive looking than what Bama has been. Bama's just got no offense right now, and Milroe's coming back, which is good. Evidently, he was suspended, which makes a lot more sense than trying out what they tried out last game. But man, Lane is doing his Lane thing where he's pissing off Saban all week, and I'm just Bama. This would be normally where Bama would figure this out and blow them out. But man, they just got no offense, man. They got nothing going right now. It's tough. I'm going with Ole Miss. I got to do it.
Dang. Ole Miss. That's I am
Can't do
actually
it.
Lane
scared.
train?
I'm actually scared, man.
Can't
I'm
do
scared.
I'm
Nick,
scared too, man.
I
That
think
is,
Nick really,
Nope.
I really think Nick would fight him at the handshake if he lost him. If there's one person that he truly cannot stand, I really think is Lane. Oh, and
he can lose the
somebody
start,
said
he can lose the
the fake
Kirby, but he is not gonna lose the Lane.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Ole Miss-
I'm gonna take the cop out here. From a gambling standpoint, give me the 7.5 because I know Lane cares about covering the spread, but it might be too big. I don't know. Pause.
So you going with them to cover, or you going with them to
especially on
win?
the road.
I'm going with them to cover. I think Chase is
Okay,
going with them to cover too.
No, man, I know I want to take them outright. But then that would be a second loss in a row in Tuscaloosa. Oh,
God, it would burn. I'm scared.
Yeah, that's hysteria. I'm
Would you
going to
also-
safe play, man. I'm going Bama. Like I said earlier, like I think probably the death of Bama football is a little. It's not there yet. I'm not there, and from like Trey said, I mean Jackson Dart is what, a third-year starter. I haven't seen anything from him to make you think that this offense is just going to be able to go into Tuscaloosa and continuously drive on the Alabama defense. Now I know Jalen Milroe in the quarterback position at Alabama has some issues with, but hopefully Alabama is able to see his upside and his potential and the things that he can do well and highlight that. Get the guy, he's a playmaker, man. Like he's not going to beat you consistently in the pocket. Yes, you got to mix in some drop backs, keep teams off balance, but it should be way more zone read, way more quarterback run, way more getting him on the perimeter, allowing him to make quick decisions, get the ball out of his hand quick, and be a good athlete. So hopefully Tommy Reese and Nick Saban to figure that out, because I agree with you. Whenever Lane is in this position, we've been in this position between Bama and Ole Miss like 2 times in the last 5 years, where we say, "Oh, look at Ole Miss. They're in a position on paper, to really challenge Alabama." And the next thing you know, Lane comes out and it's 4th and 4 from the 41, and he's going for it. And it's just like he makes these decisions sometimes in Bama games, and I'm like, yeah, that's not the type of thing you want to do. And the next thing you know, you're down 14-0, and then you're getting boat raced by an Alabama team who wants to find a game to find their confidence to say, we back. Like, and one thing about Saban Love is their rat poison. That's all he talks about. The rat poison is out there. They want to see us die. We're not dead yet. So I'm going to go with Bama to cover. And I'm also going to go the over 55 and a half.
Hey, never forget the infamous get your popcorn ready.
did y'all see the stuff that Lane did this week though? He's been been going crazy already.
Yeah. Ole Miss, the defense is suspect. Like they've been giving up points to teams that they shouldn't have, like the Georgia Tech game. That defense looked sus. Also, Ole Miss, that offense also they don't start fast. Like, look at the Tulane game, look at the Georgia Tech game. They don't start. Like, it takes them a minute for even that to get going, for all this talk of, Lane's got the offense figured out. No, it doesn't. And let's be honest, they were quite lucky that Tulane was on a backup, or they would have had them for lunch. If you're going to run a quarterback, this is the defense to do it on. Go ahead, Milroe. Run for 200 on them. Go ahead.
And I'm with you guys. For the offense, for Lane Kiffin offense, Dart doesn't wow you with explosive plays. And I mean, I think we're all in agreement. If you're not gonna try to beat Saban over top, you might as well just go ahead and cancel it. Yeah. Unless you are a Georgia program that can go strength on strength and hold your own. Like, you gotta be able to make them think about, how many people they got in the box, what the matchups are on the outside, make those safeties have to play back a little deeper so you can hit them underneath and get you the space to operate. Because one thing he doesn't like is the explosive plays. Like, he literally, every time I've seen the defense struggle a little bit over the last 3 to 4 years, is always on the teams that have that big play explosiveness, and they get that one good throw in, and then he kind of backs up a little bit, gets a little confused, and it kind of throws them off. So yeah, do they have the talent to even do that? I don't even know. Because Lane he's funny and it's comical and everything, but when you across the field from Nick Saban, and this man is literally like out to get you. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm gonna take the 7.5.
Is Spencer Saunders. No, they do not have the potential to do this.
Well, Spencer Saunders is his backup.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
dude
know
from
that.
OK State.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know who he is. He's a turnover machine. I didn't know he was
Exactly.
It's a mid
he
off.
left
It's a
to be
mid
a
off.
back.
All mid.
Yeah,
Right.
that's awful. Oh,
And
my
I don't
God.
know
The
why
one
he
thing I'll say
was
about Lane is I think he's an overrated offensive mind in general,
Mhm.
but I do think that he's got film now from two very good offensive minds in front of him with what Sark did and then Alex Golesh with USF. I mean, there's enough film there that if Lane's got some offensive chops, which I think he's got some, then he might be able to build off of some of that stuff and use that in the game plan. But yeah, I mean, oh man, it's tough. Lane is acting like he has the ace up his sleeve. So that makes me think like he's just seen so much in the film that he knows he's about to cook on, but he might just get it all thrown back in his face like he has every other year. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was gonna say
he
if he
saw what
does
Sark
win,
had, but Sark had nuclear weapons. Sark had nukes to a war, brought nukes to a war. He ain't got that. He ain't got that in the arms race, bro. He ain't
Yeah.
got that.
and if God forbid though, if we could get in a perfect world, if we could get a Prime win and a Lane Kiffin win in the same weekend, I might not even care about Sunday.
Hey,
Well,
would
thank
you,
you guys for joining us.
would
Go
you
ahead.
take Prime versus Lane in like the Peach Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or something?
It can't be the Cotton Bowl, man. That's racism. There you go, Patrick. You just had to take it there. You just had to take it there.
I just don't. I want to say this before we go. There's no way in hell I can let Nerd Boy lose to this fake ass Prime. He's been walking around with his green jacket on, chest all out, dabbing niggas up and shit, and I'm tired of it. I want to send him back to wherever he's from in Ohio. Like Marcus Freeman, he's a Buckeye. He's said some. It's been a kind of an interesting relationship between OSU and Marcus Freeman, like in the last year. But I'm tired of this dude, and I hate to sound like a boomer, and all his hip hop ass shit trying to be so cool at Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame, man. I hate these dudes, man.
I only rock with one Marcus. Go Irish.
Hop music.
Chase said, "Go Irish."
I'm out.
This is gonna be a strange Saturday, man. Thank you guys for coming through, man. And then we'll be back next week as well. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll be back next week. I'm out of town on Thursday, but we'll be back next week. And then we will get some feedback. Obviously, Chase, I need you back too. I want some feedback on the game as well, especially if Ohio State loses.
I might be in Boulder next week for the USC game. We might have to go live from Boulder.
Okay.
Live from Rocky Mountain.
That'll work too. You gonna have ice? You gonna have ice on your knees like Michael Irvin?
I ain't hard to find. I'm gonna be out there like that.
Hey, my man gonna have a Colorado jersey on like Jay got an Oregon jersey.
I'm gonna give you one. Nerd Boy lose this one.
No, he's gonna be putting it on in the parking lot like Lil Wayne.
Right,
he's gonna be putting it on the parking lot. He's gonna look like Lil Wayne just trying to get it over his head. His braid's gonna get stuck in the back.
Well, I'll catch y'all guys next week, man.
All right, man.